this video, my goal is to make that video that I wish I would have had 4 or 5 years ago. I remember doing a bunch of research and just being really frustrated because I couldn't find the exact posing criteria for NPC. So the first thing we're going to work on is our front pose. Front pose. So we're going to be doing a T with our feet. One foot is going to come completely forward. The other foot is going to face completely at an angle, depending on what foot you're using. And the leg in the front, we're going to put our toe up in order to flex our calves, show a little bit of quad, and show that glute. Now we're going to shift our body weight towards our back leg to even create more of an illusion of a smaller waist and our glute popping out. We're going to go ahead and flex those quads. Shoulders are going to roll back. We're going to have our outer hand out on the side. Make sure it's not covering your glute. We're out to the side. And our other hand is going to be right where our belly button is. We're going to grab that waist. Now watch how if I were to grab it here, it's too far out, but if I bring it in slightly, it creates that illusion even more of a smaller waist. Alrighty, our next pose is going to be our side pose, or our quarter turn. So in this angle, let's talk about what the judges are looking for. As you're turning around, they want to see our glutes, our hamstrings, our quads, our calf, inner quad, waistline, shoulder. Now, lately I have been seeing a lot of new athletes really bend that knee in order to showcase that hamstring tie-in and that quad development, and they're kind of hovering over. Now, yes, you can probably see more of hamstring if I bend that knee. Oof. I bend that knee, but you are sacrificing the way that your waist looks, right? We want to still create that illusion of looking tall, looking lean, looking feminine, and having that small waistline. So I would highly, highly recommend that if it's hard for you to show that hamstring, it's okay. You still have a lot to grow, and that's fine. I'd much rather have my clients looking well balanced in their posing and looking very feminine and confident, and not looking so stiff and bulky when they go down to their side pose. So I would really recommend, as you're going into your side pose, right, we're looking delicate, we're still flexing those quads and those glutes, but we're still looking tall and still adding the illusion of that small waist. Be on the other side. So again, when we go into our quarter turn, we're not bending that hamstring and trying to really pop that hamstring out, but at the same time looking wider than we should, right? We're looking delicate, going into our vacuum, out to the side. Nice strong calves, nice strong quads. Now, let's move into our back pose. This was always a pose that was kind of tricky for me because you can't really see what you're flexing, right? It's always like a guessing game unless you're recording yourself or unless you have a posing coach. My question was always, should I flex my glutes or not? And honestly, it depends on how lean you are and your physique. This is why I would really, really recommend for you to get a posing coach or even go to posing clinics. Talk to athletes that have done this before, talk to pros, talk to judges, so that they can give you the best look for your physique. But for an overall summary, with our back pose, we want our hands right on our quads. And I always like to tell my clients, kind of pretend that you're trying to drive out your quads and push your hands back so that in our back pose, you can see my rear delts and my triceps just a little bit. Now obviously my hair will be back. You can still see it just slightly. These are going to be bent, but just slightly. We don't want overbending of the knees, because again, that just doesn't look right, ladies. Trust me. So we want to have feet out at an angle, not too much where it looks off and it looks like we're really trying to expose those quads. Just a little bit. Hands are going to be in between those legs, pushing back our palms so we can flex those arms, arching our back as much as we can. And for me, I like to flex the hamstring and my calves, not so much the glutes, because for me, when I flex my glutes, it just starts looking flat. Doesn't look right. Common mistakes. Now, I know I did this, and I know many of you ladies probably did in the past or are still doing, so let me help you. One main thing was our hands. At the beginning, we probably don't know what to do with our hands. They might be a little too stiff, or they might be just flying around. I know for me, I just over-exaggerated with my hands. I was always doing the most, and I was definitely loving my gun fingers. Everywhere that I posed, I was always pointing my fingers for some reason. I thought it would be better and it would help me flex. The best tip I have for you is pretending that you're holding a remote control. Now, basically, hands are going to be like this in every position that you have. Now, don't take my word for it. I've seen the pros do it. If you watch their hands, they all have the remote control. So the way this would look is in my front pose, out on the side. What I love about this pose is that it looks delicate, but you can also see my nails, right? And I'm not doing this. Tip number 2 is going to be our walk. As soon as you step onto that stage, you are on. Judges are looking at you, everything should be on point. Even when they're not looking at you, they're looking at you. You always want to showcase the best, especially since you worked so hard to step on that stage. Don't let it be because of your posing. So when we're walking, we really want to look tall, we want to look feminine, and we want to look like this is a walk in the park, right? We don't want to look stiff and kind of like I've never worn heels in my life. Now, trust me, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I didn't wear heels for like my whole entire life. So, fake it to make it, and definitely just practice. Walk around as much as you can wearing heels. I definitely love posing with my heels now, and I used to hate it, but now I enjoy it. So, with walking, I think the best way to showcase your curves, especially in the wellness division, is going to be walking kind of like the model walk, right? But obviously with wellness and in bodybuilding in general, we're exaggerating that pose. With models, it's like very delicate, looking straight, while with wellness and in bodybuilding, we kind of want to be flexing. I think Yadishna is a great example of this. If you see her posing, right when she takes that first step, she flexes her quads, and then every step after that is flexing the quads. I would highly recommend that. Obviously, that was like really slow and exaggerated. I want to make it seem like it's completely effortless. But that's another recommendation I would have. Clients that have trouble just walking delicately, and I get it, like we're athletes, we're training hard, we're probably tight in our traps and in our shoulders, so being loose and dancing around is not really our thing, and I completely get it. So I would recommend doing this quick exercise. This is sometimes what I have my clients do if they're too tight. So if this is a PVC pipe, but you can use any stick, you can use a broomstick if you want. We're going to put it behind our hands, and what it's going to teach you is to roll those shoulders back and keep that chest out. Now all we're doing, you can grab it to the side or keep your arms down. All we're doing is practicing our walk while we're keeping those shoulders back. And this is something that you should be doing every single day, right? Before and after your training, especially if your show is coming up. Now after a while, that becomes normal. Sticking your chest out at an exaggerated way and sticking out those glutes isn't gonna feel that uncomfortable, and now you'll just be walking. I really hope that helped. I know my 19, 18-year-old self would be so happy to see this video, and I really hope that it helped all of you guys. Feel free to message me on Instagram or in my posing Instagram, and I will gladly check out your video, help you out with posing. And if this video helped you, comment, like, subscribe, and even tag me in your posing videos. Awesome. I'll see you guys next time.